Welcome, Muses. Tonight, we delve into the shadows where history, horror, and human tragedy intertwine. With our final segment on the Malleus Maleficarum, the infamous witch hunter's manual, whose final words reveal as much about fear as they do about faith. From there, we move into the chilling holiday violence of the Covina Christmas massacre, the holiday party turned nightmare that left scars far beyond its victims. We will learn how the Malleus shaped the signs to look for and how to torture a confession out of women they deemed witches. In our missing moment, we pause on the disappearance of Paul Cliffton Sigman of Grayson, Kentucky, a case that lingers in silence and speculation. And to close, a short bonus reflection on Heinrich Kramer, the mind behind the Malleus, whose zealotry shaped centuries of persecution. Together, these stories remind us that the line between belief and brutality is often thinner than we imagine. Let's begin. Welcome back, Muses. I hope that everyone is doing amazingly. It is almost Thanksgiving in real time, just past Thanksgiving at the time you were listening. So I hope that you all had a great Thanksgiving and got to eat all of the food that your palate desired, and your turkey coma was great. Amy, How are you today? Are you ready for food and naps?
I am discombobulated, always ready for food, and so ready for all the naps.
God, me too. All those things.
We got to pregame Thanksgiving because we had a Friendsgiving out in one of our friends' garages that we hang out in, and the food was so good. They provided the turkey. There may have been ham too. I'm not interested in ham ever. No, I'm a turkey. I want turkey at Thanksgiving. I want turkey at Christmas.
I want ham for all the things.
I don't want ham. I think ham is for Easter. I don't know why. I don't want it then either, though.
Also,
what is it?
I'll eat it for Easter also.
Oh.
Yeah, I like ham better. I like
turkey. Why don't we eat rabbit for Easter? Why isn't turkey season during Thanksgiving? I have so many questions. But anyway, the food there was superb, and I can't wait to eat more of it on Thursday with my family.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
I don't know. I like rolls.
Okay, so
I think rolls might be my favorite thing for all the things, but yeah, I don't know.
I like stuffing.
Bread.
I like mashed potatoes. I like rolls. And I was listening to the radio today, and they were talking about those brown and serve rolls.
Yeah.
And I know that my family makes like actual rolls. Well,
right.
At Christmas anyway, because that's when we go to Mama Jane's. But that just sounded so freaking good.
Well, see, that's me. That's like when I think of my rolls from like holidays, it's brown and serve.
Yeah. It's brown and serve rolls.
I go buy brown and serve rolls. No, I don't.
I'm fixing to. I think I'm fixing to do it. I'm in charge of mashed potatoes, but I'm going to bring some brown and serves.
You should. Yeah. I think I'm going to do that also.
I like stuffing, not the oyster kind.
They do cornbread stuffing.
Oh, yeah.
Our cornbread stuffing and theirs is not the same.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Like we would take cornbread, make the cornbread.
Yeah.
And then take the dry stovetop or whatever. Yeah. Mix it in with it. And then you put, your chicken broth and chicken or turkey in there and then bake it. That's how we always made it. Well, I mean, you would put celery and whatever you want in it. I don't want any of that crap, so I don't. They don't put the stuffing in it. They put just the cornbread. They make the cornbread, and then they put the chicken broth and chicken in it.
It ain't got no sage?
Right. It doesn't have the stuffing
Is
in it. So I don't know. It sounds mushy.
It does sound mushy. Why
And
got chicken?
I realize that
That's a pot pie. They put chicken in it.
like shredded chicken, yeah. They'll get like a
That's a
rotisserie chicken and
Louisiana pot
shred it.
pie. What the hell are they making? What the hell?
It really is. I didn't think about that, but now I want to. Anyway, he said that his mom sent him his grandma's recipe last year, which he neglected to share with me. So I'm not 100%. He swears that there's nothing else in it though. And I was just like, that sounds sludgy.
No, thank you.
You know what I mean? That just sounds wet.
It sounds.
I don't like it. Like I realize when you put liquid in stuffing mix,
Yeah,
but it's not.
that's to fluff.
It's not
the dried
cornbread
crumbs.
texture though, so it's like I don't know.
And is it sweet cornbread mix or is it?
No, God, don't say that here.
Shut up, y'all! Got into some Jiffy mix down there. The sass.
They not. He will not eat allowed in the house.
Shut up! I can't ship you some.
Yes, you can, and I can eat it all by my damn self.
Yes, you can.
But yeah, they don't. I even add a little extra in mine. I like me.
Well, yeah, you got to.
I'll make cinnamon butter.
Yes, ma'am.
No,
I'll ship you some Jiffy mix.
Have just white cornbread. So cornbread's different.
I'm sorry to hear that.
In this house, it is.
Do they eat pinto beans down there? Or just dirty rice beans or whatever?
No, they do. It's not as big of a thing as it is up there, but yeah, they do. And they're soup beans. It's not
soup beans.
Too different. I don't know about taste-wise. I don't like pinto, so I like all the other beans.
I'm not a fan myself.
So I'm good. Anywho,
yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, indeed.
All right. So we're going to finish off the Malleus today.
Praise.
And then I know. I do have a little bonus. Oh, and for our intro, until a couple of hours ago, I had a bizarre burial like written in and everything. And then I was like, I don't want to do that. When I said that I would probably take out my bizarre burials because I knew this was the last one and I'm going to have little bits of things that I want to throw in there, it turned into a whole thing like I figured it would. So I did warn ahead of time that I would probably replace it. But when I did the intro already, I talked about my bizarre burials, which aren't going to be in it. So they'll be in something later. And it's a really good one. So
I do love the bizarre burials. I have enjoyed this Malleus Maleficarum making fun of old feller.
This one's a little less him.
This is the sucky part of it.
Yeah, I don't like this part. And then in place of the bizarre burials, I have some extra information on the Malleus, like they're torturing and things that they did to try to coerce
people to lie about themselves,
admittance to guilt and such. And some of those are pretty, So I'm going to go through the not fun part of this.
Not fun part. I'm probably going to stay muted a lot this time.
Okay.
I'm to say about this.
Yeah, it's not a fun one, so.
Okay.
So this is going to be, as I said, our final segment of the Malleus Maleficarum. We've explored the origins and arguments in the last two previous episodes, as well as its demonological and gendered theories. Now we turn to the book's most practical and most chilling section. Its detailed procedural guidelines for identifying, interrogating, and prosecuting alleged witches. We will trace how these methods influenced legal practices, fueled the witch trials of early modern Europe, and left a legacy that still echoes on today. So, the legal manual, step-by-step witch hunting. This is all part 3 of the Malleus Maleficarum in the legal handbook. Offering a step-by-step guide for magistrates and judges, it covers every aspect of the witch trials process, from the initial accusation to the final execution. The procedures are designed to maximize the likelihood of a conviction, often at the expense of fairness and due process. The process begins with the gathering of accusations, which can be initiated by an informer, a general outcry, or even a simple rumor. The judge is advised to avoid formal accusations since the secretive nature of witchcraft makes direct evidence pretty rare. Instead, the judge should proceed on the basis of denunciations and suspicions, assembling witnesses and searching the accused home for instruments of witchcraft or bodily marks, so-called devil's marks. Witnesses are questioned in detail about their knowledge of the accused, their reputation, and any suspicious behavior. The accused is interrogated about her background, associations, beliefs, pretty much anything and everything that they could use to accuse or even twist to make an accusation. Even minor inconsistencies or ambiguous answers can be used to build a case for guilt. The judge is instructed to be relentless, probing every aspect of the accused's life for evidence of witchcraft. So the interrogation and torture. Central to the Malleus legal procedure is the use of torture to extract confessions. The book recommends not only physical coercion, but also deception, promising mercy or leniency to induce a confession, even when execution is the inevitable outcome. The accused is stripped, searched for hidden objects or marks, and subjected to a range of tortures. From the strapado, and I'm going to go on to describe some of these devices and methods later, to much more severe methods.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just...
That one word is what prompted me to actually ditch the bizarre burials and find the list of things that they used and did and explain what they are, because who the hell knows what a strapado is.
Yeah, because I think that whenever it comes to the witch trials and things like that, that most people just think of the burning at the stake or the drowning if you can't float.
And that's, which is also funny because, well, you'll learn in that part.
Yeah. Well, we'd be out anyway because we're freckled and mold.
I mean, I have a third nipple, so.
You are really out, and I had my weird...
all kinds.
My Buffy the Vampire Slayer mole removed because it was weird.
Yeah, regardless.
We had this conversation on another
We were screwed in several different ways.
Yeah.
Once you hear some of these things, we're both like, well, I'm done.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
My shark-shaped birthmark probably wouldn't help things at all either.
It absolutely wouldn't.
No.
Yeah. No, that's just going to add to it. So confessions obtained under torture were considered valid only if they are later confirmed without coercion. So if the accused refuses to confess, the torture can be continued on subsequent days, provided new evidence is produced. The process is designed to break the will of the accused, exploiting both physical pain and psychological manipulation. The rationale for this approach is summed up in the Latin phrase, confessio est regina probationum. Confession is the queen of evidence. In the medieval legal system,
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
sure.
Speaking, yes. However, when your whole thing is based on the fact that if you get a confession, whether it's real or not,
it's not the queen.
Counterintuitive.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. In the medieval legal system, a confession was the most prized form of proof, and the methods used to obtain it were often deemed less important than the confession itself. The logic justified the widespread use of torture in witch trials, despite its obvious potential for producing false confessions. So the evidentiary rules and the presumptions of guilt. The Malleus establishes a presumption of guilt for those accused of witchcraft. Women who do not cry during their trials are automatically suspected. The inability to weep or to show fear is taken as evidence of diabolical protection. The judge is advised to interpret even the most innocent behavior as a sign of guilt and to disregard the possibility of innocence. After all, Kramer insists, God would never permit an innocent person to be convicted of witchcraft. First of all, didn't we just discuss about the 3 things that were needed in order to be a witch? And one of those was God grants the permission.
Yeah.
So he also apparently would never permit an innocent person to be convicted of witchcraft. But per Kramer's theory, in order to be a witch, you must have God's permission to essentially follow and play with the devil.
Do they understand any of the words coming out of their mouths?
I don't believe so, no. Because that makes zero sense. Like, here's my thing. Did you read the whole book when you decided that this was how you were going to run your court? Because if you read the whole damn book, you would have learned that in the very beginning of it, it explains the 3 things that, and one of those things that we even were like, huh, was that God must give the permission for them to be witches. So
nothing makes sense.
Like, completely contradicts yourself from the first chapter to the 3rd. So, okay.
I thought the most confusing thing about the witch trials, Bambi, was that they drowned women because only if they floated were they a witch, right?
Yeah.
So that doesn't even make sense.
I mean, it doesn't.
We're just drowning people.
Yeah.
We're sinking them.
Correct.
With things.
And
drowning them.
I would have been screwed there also because I can swim, but like I can't float.
I can.
I've never been able to my whole life.
Use your chesticles, girl.
Well, I mean, they float. The rest of
They'll
them,
float.
however, will drag them right down to the bottom with me.
I can float. I can sink. Zane can walk on the bottom of the water. He can't float.
I can't do that either. I don't think. I don't know. I don't recall ever trying that.
Like he just sinks. His dad does.
I don't swim, so
yeah.
I don't.
Do you even own a
bathing suit? I do. I do. I've had it for like probably 15 years. I don't think I've ever had it on.
It's probably dry rotted.
Probably so. Yeah. Probably not gonna want to try it now either. But it's in my drawer. I've carried it through like 15 states and 42 houses, but whatever. I think I bought it in Virginia.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Which
anywho, yeah, the last time. Okay. Yeah, because the one that I had before that was from Pennsylvania, and I bought it. It was a vintage, like actual vintage.
Yeah.
Like my polka dotted little skirted one that I had. I wore it once. I didn't get it in the water because I didn't get in the water, but I wore it on the dock.
Oh, that's right. You did have a pond.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Mostly it just snowed there a lot.
It did. A whole lot. Okay. So, as I said, God would not allow an innocent person to be convicted of witchcraft, but he also would apparently have to give permission for them to do witchcraft. So there's that. The book also addresses the problem of witnesses. Quarrelsome women, for example, are excluded as witnesses, presumably to prevent accusations based on personal animosity. So again, even if they're not witches, women are a problem. Just want to point that out.
I cannot be a woman. I mean, a witness. I can be a woman. I have a quarrelsome one, though.
Yeah. Well, just like we would have been hell in a heartbeat because we are assertive and we are independent and we will tell you, sir. I don't know that I would have spat on him. It just depends on how hard he was rolling, you know what I mean? But like,
yeah.
So yeah, as I said, quarrelsome women for example, were excluded as witnesses, presumably, that's just presumed, to prevent accusations based on personal animosities. Yet the names of witnesses can be withheld from the accused, and the judge, not the accused, selects the advocate who will defend her.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to shut up. I
Right.
can't.
Yeah. So the entire process is stacked against the defendant, obviously, with the goal of securing a conviction at literally almost any cost. The influence on legal practices, secular courts, and the witch craze. While the Malleus Maleficarum was not officially adopted by the Inquisition, it became the handbook for secular courts throughout Renaissance Europe. Its procedures were embraced by lay magistrates, especially in the German-speaking regions of the Holy Roman Empire, where the majority of witch trials took place. The book's detailed instructions, combined with the authority of the papal bull and the forged university endorsement, gave it immense practical influence. The invention of the printing press played a crucial role in spreading the Malleus ideas. Published just 30 years after Gutenberg's breakthrough, the book went through at least 28 editions between 1486 and 1600 and was accepted by both Catholics and Protestants as an authoritative guide to witchcraft and its prosecution.
This is absurd.
Yeah.
Okay.
28 editions of this shit.
28.
Yeah.
Somebody just added more bullcrap.
Yeah. And here is the
for
result.
28 editions worth. Okay.
The impact was devastating. In the 2 centuries following its publication, an estimated 100,000 people were prosecuted for witchcraft in Europe, with between 40,000 and 60,000 executed. Most of them were women, of course. The Malleus's gendered theory of witchcraft became the default assumption, and its procedural guidelines shaped the conduct of trials across the continent. So, the criticism, decline, and legacy. Despite its popularity, the Malleus Maleficarum was not without its critics. As we know, it started out with some. The Inquisition itself rejected Kramer's methods, and leading theologians condemned the book for its unethical procedures and doctrinal errors. In some regions, such as Italy and Spain, the number of witch trials actually declined after the book's publication, as more skeptical attitudes took hold. By the late 17th and 18th centuries, the tide was turning. The Enlightenment's emphasis on reason, empirical evidence, and legal reform led to glowing skepticism about witchcraft and the use of tortures. New rules for judicial procedure demanded higher standards of evidence, and courts became increasingly reluctant to initiate prosecutions. The number of acquittals grew, and higher authorities often intervened to stop local witch hunts that had spiraled out of control. Yet the legacy of the Malleus endures. Its fusion in theology, misogyny, and legal procedures left a deep imprint on Europe's culture. The stereotype of the female witch, the association of women with evil and sexual deviance, and the use of torture to extract confessions all have roots in the world that Kramer helped create. Even today, the Malleus Maleficarum is studied as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of unchecked authority, fear, and prejudice. Reflections. So these are the lessons for today that came from this. As we reflect on the history of the Malleus Maleficarum, we are confronted with the uncomfortable truths. The witch hunts were not simply a product of superstition, but of deeply ingrained misogyny, social anxiety, and the manipulation of legal and religious authorities. Women who deviated from societal norms, who were independent, outspoken, or skilled in healing, were especially vulnerable. The Malleus provided the intellectual and procedural framework for their prosecution, legitimizing violence in the name of faith and order. The story of the Malleus is also a story of resistance. Many contemporaries criticized its excesses, and over time, the value of due process, skepticism, and human rights prevailed. Today, the book stands as a stark warning about the consequences of fear-driven justice and the importance of critical thinking and compassion in the face of hysteria. So thank you for taking this brief journey through the Malleus Maleficarum, from its origins in the anxieties of late medieval Europe, through its demonological and gendered theories, to its chilling legacy and the history of the witch trials. We hope this exploration has shed light on the complex interplay of belief, power, and justice that shaped one of history's darkest chapters. If you found this episode thought-provoking, please follow, subscribe, leave a comment, and join us next time as we continue to uncover the dark stories that have shaped our world. So that, ladies, gentlemen, and all of those in between, is the Malleus Maleficarum. As I said, I will be going into some of the tortures, the devices, some of the things that they looked for, physical appearances, and just lifestyle things that they looked for in order to accuse or get a confession out of these women in order to prosecute them. There we have it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Whatever that was. I enjoyed learning more about the Hammer of Witches.
Yeah.
Do you know if you have any ancestors who were prosecuted as a witch?
I have not found any that were prosecuted, but I have.
I don't even know how you researched that specifically.
It's hard. If you get back to certain names, and the way that I did it was where I found some ties to actual witches was to go by the time frames of when the trials were, and in that kind of time frame, find them in your tree and try to research that specific person. So that's what I did. I went like on my mom's side and her mom, and then her mom, and I went all the way back as far as I could. And then for like pre-witch trial time, before they came over here, is how far back I went to look. And that's how I found the Dubani tribe, or Doe Bunny. They say it different ways. That's how I found my connection to that. And it was apparently a whole little village of peaceful witches, like the whole village. So, yeah.
That sounds lovely. Maybe I just need to give you my passwords for all of my ancestry stuff, and then you can do that for me.
Oh, isn't that cute?
I would just get lost.
You can also, I do, but that's the reason that I don't sit and do it like I used to. Because, like, I would sit for days and days and days and days nonstop and just dig and dig and dig. But that's how I got far back as I did, too. One of the things that you can use is, I'll send you a link. My True Ancestry is one of them. You can send your DNA results to that. Oh. And it will also give you percentages on, like, Viking era and pre-Viking era to kind of help narrow those down. And then it will give you percentages of, like, I didn't realize this. Actually, there was an update recently that I hadn't got because I haven't looked at it since I think I was in my apartment the last time I looked at that one. And I've had like 38 updates to mine since. And I looked, and the percentage for that tribe is bigger now than it was. And I have my Scandinavian is up far more than it was before, too. So, I mean, that doesn't surprise me even a little bit. But it's really fascinating. And I'm still on the hunt for the 2 books on that tribe. There's only 2 that I can find. I want to find a pitiful copy of it because I just can't make myself, as much as I love to and would like to be able to sit down and read a book again, between my eyeballs not working properly and my attention span, I get like a page in and I'm done. So
I get that.
It makes me sad because that's like my favorite thing in the world to do. But
Audible is my best friend.
Yeah, that's what I do now is I listen to them. I have the Malleus I have on, it's a PDF copy of it. And thankfully I had read it already because, picking through after reading it already wasn't so bad.
Have you heard maybe of the Covina Christmas Eve massacre?
I don't think that I have.
I
I'm not
don't recall
100%
that
certain, but I don't believe so. If I
I don't think
recognize
that I
it
had either
once you're
until I
in
was
there.
looking for some kind of Christmas related crimes, and
Yeah.
it's horrible. So
Yeah.
I
If I remember it at some point, I'll let you know.
okay. On December 24th, 2008, the Ortega family gathered at the Covina, California home of Joseph and Alice Ortega for their annual Christmas Eve party. Several relatives filled the house, and this was a tradition that the family cherished. At around 11:30 p.m., Bruce Pardo, Sylvia Ortega's ex-husband, arrived at the door wearing a Santa suit. He was carrying a large wrapped package. Upon entering the house, Pardo opened fire. He had 4 9mm handguns and was targeting family members at random. Then he unwrapped the gift, and that was a homemade flamethrower. He unleashed flames into the crowded living room, and the house erupted in fire and trapped victims inside. Does this sound familiar at all?
Yes, it does. But just as far as the coming to the door in the Santa
In the
suit,
Santa suit.
the rest of it does not at all sound familiar.
I,
Flamethrower.
yeah, homemade flamethrower at that.
Mm,
I searched crimes committed in Santa suits to find this and other things that I'll be talking about.
awesome.
I don't know why my brain is twisted. That's why we're here.
Yeah. Welcome. Welcome to our world.
Welcome to Macabre Musings. By the time the blaze was extinguished, 9 members of the Ortega family were dead. They included Joseph Ortega, who was 80 and Sylvia's father, his wife Alice Ortega, who was 70, Sylvia Ortega herself, which was Pardo's ex-wife, she was 43, James Ortega, Sylvia's brother, who was 51, Charles Ortega, 49, also Sylvia's brother. I believe it's Cherie Ortega, she's 45, and that is Charles' wife. Matthew Ortega, 17, who is the son of Charles and Cherie. Alicia Ortega, who was 46 and Sylvia's sister. And Michael Ortiz, who was 33 and Alicia's husband.
My God.
I know. It's horrendous.
That is absolutely disgusting.
At a Christmas Eve party.
Wow.
3 others were injured. They include Leticia, and respectfully, I'm going to skip the last name because I will tear it up. Her last name is Yuzefpolsky. She was shot in the pelvis, but managed to escape. The 2 others, I didn't find the names of, but one escaped with a gunshot wound or gunshot wounds, and the other escaped with burn injuries. But the shot in the pelvis. That's, I mean, any of this is absolutely horrendous.
No, it's all very, very terrible. But
that makes me hurt.
Yeah, I felt that. Like when you read it, I felt it, and that's that whole other kind of no.
Pardo fled, but was severely injured by his own attack. When he ignited the Ortega family home with his homemade flamethrower, the fire spread rapidly, and the synthetic Santa suit that he was wearing melted onto his skin.
Oh, good. Yeah, good. I hope that sucked for you.
I hope it did. It did. This caused 3rd-degree burns on his arms and legs, leaving him in intense pain. God, I hate that for you. And making it impossible for him to carry out his original escape plan.
Oh, darn.
I'll get into that shortly. The burns were so severe that instead of boarding his flight, he drove to his brother's home in Sylmar. His brother wasn't home at the time. There, Pardo ended his own life with a shotgun to the head. Police had tracked him to his brother's home, so it was they and not the brother who found him. I did look that up because how horrible that would be for his family. The whole situation is horrible. Please don't think that, I feel sorry for the mental situation. I do not feel sorry for him for his actions. I don't know how to make that make sense.
I mean, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, good.
And I always, well, not always, because in some situations it's not deserved. Most families of people who do things like this, I feel for. They also are losing somebody. They also are having to deal with the aftermath of something absolutely atrocious. But some of them also not so much. But yes.
Are the reason for some of
And
it?
I'm glad that his brother wasn't. Yeah. I'm glad that his brother wasn't the one that
Yes.
found him. That's that would be horrifying, I'm sure.
Yeah. It is assumed that the severity of his injuries caused him to change his plan.
Yeah, probably.
So we're going to get a little bit into that now. His attack was not spontaneous. It was carefully orchestrated. The Santa suit was purchased much earlier and tailored to conceal weapons and fuel tanks. Yeah, your face right now. It was designed to make him blend in at the holiday gathering while hiding deadly tools. So I have a question about that. It's 11:30 at night and somebody raps at your door and is like, come in. Or did he just come into the party? I should have looked into that.
I feel like he just came, just
walked in.
Yeah.
He allegedly acquired 4 9mm Sig Sauer handguns, each loaded and ready, and he carried them in the suit. He constructed a homemade flamethrower disguised as a wrapped Christmas gift. It was filled with racing fuel, which is highly flammable and was chosen for maximum destruction. His rental car was rigged with devices meant to detonate if tampered with, ensuring no one could easily investigate or capture him. And then about that flight, investigators later found a plane ticket to Canada, purchased in advance. He had intended to flee after the massacre, but severe burns from the fire made escape impossible. So instead, he drove to his brother's home, where he took his own life. Pardo had recently lost his job and was bitter over his divorce settlement, which required him to pay Sylvia Ortega $10,000. He blamed her and her family for his failures, and his plan was an act of revenge. So that was financial motivation, really. It seems like, anyway. But the level of preparedness revealed that it wasn't just anger. I mean, that's just cold calculation. He thought through a disguise, his weaponry, the fire, the explosives, and even the escape routes. So this was
like
planned.
Very, very,
very calculated.
Wow. That's probably one of the most planned out ones that I've ever heard.
Right? I mean, because he months in advance.
Like, there was no winging it on any of that. Like, most of them, there's at least something that they're just like, meh, we'll figure it out when we get there. But no.
I mean, the Santa suit.
Yeah.
He had to do that months in advance.
Oh, God, yeah. This was planned
to have
for a while.
Tailored for all of the stuff. I mean,
that's crazy. Wow. So technically speaking, yes, this is financially motivated. But, like,
one assumes.
I mean, well, yeah, that's all we're left with, unfortunately. But
appears.
Wow. But see, now I kind of wonder if it was just the divorce itself, because we don't really know who initiated that or what the cause may have been or whatever, for their divorce. But, like, maybe that has something.
Once again, I've left
that is
more questions than answers.
Very, very, very personal. Like, the entire family.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it had.
And I mean, he'd been in this family, so he knew.
Right. Yeah.
That was their family tradition.
And I feel like that would have to be, to me, if it was just financially motivated, he would want to punish her.
Right.
You know what I mean? If it was only financially motivated.
Right. But he was blaming her and her family for his failures. Like.
Right.
Like, what they think. I mean, he didn't think he provided good enough for her in their eyes, or I don't know.
Man, that one's a rough one.
It really is. I mean, I'm sad about the number of people who were there and had to.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I mean, that were killed there. And then the 3 survivors who had to witness all of it. I do find a little solace in the fact that there weren't young children.
Yeah, I thought the same
because
when you read.
that's horrendous.
Yeah, especially given.
And I did check. There was no record that they had children.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that also.
that the two of them. Yeah.
Given the flamethrower part of the situation, yeah, and I'm not saying that any of the ways that went down are any worse than the other, but
Right.
yes,
I know what you
it
mean.
is.
One's
You know what
quick,
I mean?
one's not. Or one can be quick.
Yeah, fire is one of my very, very deep-rooted fears of ways to go. So,
Because what your shirt says.
maybe.
The one they missed.
Right. Yeah. So I can't even, like, that just makes me just, well, between that and the getting shot in the pelvis, you said that,
That's
every part of me just curled into itself. Either of those two things. I mean, if I had to pick, not that.
well, and
I just,
here is another gross thing that I thought of. What if they weren't killed instantly with the gunshots? And what got them was
right. See, that was my first thought with the flamethrower thing. And, like, if there had been younger children and he didn't harm them, but left them, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
For them to see all of that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's where my head went. Again, Macabre Musings.
Right? Welcome.
Because that's why I was just like, I can't imagine if there were younger children there, what that would be like. There was, what, 2 that escaped?
3.
3.
The lady with the shot in the pelvis, and then the one who had gunshot wounds.
Yes.
And I could not find the names of those 2. And then gunshot wounds and burn wounds.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But I did specifically look to see if there were young children at the party, and there did not appear to be. Now, if I turn around and find out that those other 2 injured are children.
Yeah. I mean, that's some thought. You know what I mean? Like, that takes a lot of real thought.
Yeah.
Up with that plan.
Wait a minute. The whole family's going to be together at Christmas. Let me don a Santa suit. But before that, let me have it custom tailored. And I assume he did the tailoring himself. And so I can have my 4 guns, and let me wrap this flamethrower that I've made into a gift. And I hate it here.
That is so much. I know. And I mean, like, I don't have the mind of a murderer, which is good, but I like to try to think in terms of, would I have been able to sit if I had that type of mind and just be like, I know what I'm going to do.
And
I'm going to
not think that, oh my God, I need to go get mental help.
To where I can put all my shit in it. And you know what? I'm going to make a flamethrower.
Mm-hmm.
And wrap it.
And the Santa suit had the the gas
fuel, yeah.
The fuel tanks, yeah.
Then there's that. No is the answer to all of these questions. No, I would not think, if I'm gonna go kill people, that's how I'm gonna, wow. And to think that the only thing that prevented him from just bailing and being wherever, Canada, I guess, was his own stupidity. Yeah. You went through all that and figured all that shit out. And then you're like,
didn't think to fireproof his Santa suit.
Yeah. Dumb. Well,
indeed.
Like, I was angry at first when you said that he killed himself because,
Well, I'm always angry about that because they need to, they need to be punished. Here I go. I don't know. I have a whole love-hate relationship with the concept of...
me too. Yeah.
Executions. So...
Well, yeah, we had that discussion too.
Yeah.
My big thing is when somebody does something, especially to that level, and takes themselves out before they have to face any kind of judgment or any type of justice for those people, it really infuriates me. Because it's like, oh, so you can do all that, but you're still a little bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Because You still can't face all of that. And if you truly, truly didn't give a shit, like, and I've seen it, like, people on trial and stuff that literally will sit there with a smirk the entire time, hearing all the details, and they don't give a single fuck.
And they smile because they get to relive all those
All
events.
the time. That is what I'm talking about when I say that when people take themselves out, you are nowhere near what you thought you were when you did all of this, because, you know, in the end, you were still a little bitch.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to do this.
Because I'm like, oh,
but I'm not
really
going to take punishment.
Right. Yeah. If you can't, yeah. That.
Unless you are terminally ill, you should not get to go out on your own terms.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah. Now, while I say that, I do understand that his intentions were absolutely not to do that.
No.
There was some justice, not the kind of justice that most people would much rather see. I hope that hurt like nothing else he could have imagined in the small amount of time, I'm sure, that it took before he did that. It's not enough. It's never enough.
Do you have something at least chipper for us? No?
No. We're going to talk about torture.
Perhaps next time when you tune in, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be less macabre and more amusing.
Episodes are they're going to be dark, like at least mine are, but more fun, not this type of dark. So,
right.
Well, mine will. Fun.
I'm going to bring the funds on my specifically Christmas episode. So,
yeah, I will attempt to be funny when I do them.
To be fair, sometimes you're funny by accident.
That's also true. It's usually by accident.
Okay. That's the best kind.
It really is. So, as I said earlier, I did have a bizarre burials for you. But with all of the nonsense with the Malleus, and this being the last segment, I wanted to kind of dedicate this little section to go over some of the bad parts. I know that the witches being accused and such was bad enough, but they didn't, I didn't go into a lot of detail on what they look for and what they do as far as how they get confessions and all of that. So I reserved that for this, and I removed it, like I said, like 2 hours before we started recording. So these are the procedural methods designed to force compliance or trap the accused. Some of these you're going to hear, and you're going to be like, oh, we still use that today. And that is true. The face that is facing right now.
You can't hear my facial expressions, ladies and gentlemen, but my eyeball popped out my head, my teeth fell out my mouth. What?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just mute.
Okay. Isolation. Long solitary confinement to induce fear, despair, or confusion. Used today. Sleep deprivation. Keeping the accused awake for long periods, often while interrogating them repeatedly. Used today.
That can cause hallucinations and stuff, can it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That seems like a great idea.
Awesome. Right.
Yeah. What do you mean used today? Are we
These are still used.
Just in general, we're not still hunting witches, right? We stopped doing that.
No, this is what people do literally when they interrogate people still today.
So
yeah.
So it is a witch hunt without being a witch hunt.
Hours and interrogate. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this crap that we do to people and prisoners
was done. Oh, yeah.
All right. I would like to move.
Leave. Yeah. Interrogation cycles. So repeated questioning, often with leading, contradictory, and trick questions. Also used today. Oath swearing coercion. Forcing the accused to swear they would tell the whole truth, supposedly neutralizing demonic influence. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
Used today.
Hey, I have a question.
Ma'am.
What if they don't believe in God?
You can say it.
Because some people don't.
You can say it all you want.
That doesn't make it. Okay.
Right.
Back on mute.
False evidence presentation, telling the accused that others had confessed and or implicated them, still used today. Psychological terror, bringing torture instruments into the room without using them, and threats of execution. Probably not used so much today, but yeah. Public humiliation in pretrial, parading the accused or placing them in stocks to break their resistance. They would parade them around before their trials in stocks.
That's the thing, the head and then the arms.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Strip searches, justified as a search for concealed charms, but actually the method was to degrade and intimidate them. Strip searches, still used today. Use of honest women, i.e., good old church ladies, to inspect their bodies, a procedural excuse for invasive searches for marks and anomalies.
And this is just degrading.
This is all before they even go to court for anything. This is during their pre-trials and accusations. This wasn't during their actual trials either. This was all beforehand.
Again, I hate it here.
Yeah. So those were starters, as I said. So let me tell you about some more of the invasive things. While the Malleus didn't detail mechanical designs, it explicitly encouraged any established judicial torture of that era. The strapadoo, or reverse hanging, arms tied behind the back, and the accused was hoisted upward, causing dislocation. That was one of the most used methods for coercing a confession.
When they were burned at the stake, were they in this position?
Hands behind the back, tied behind the back, yes.
And hung upside down.
Also, when they were hung, they were in the noose with their hands tied behind their backs. They just weren't upside down.
Okay, so, okay.
But yes.
For an actual hanging, the hands would be, well, yeah. But like when they were on the stake.
But when they were burned, yes.
They were in the upside down
position? Some. It depends on where.
Some. Okay.
Yes.
Depending on where it was. That's absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, we have the rack, which is stretching the limbs painfully to force a confession. And she's back.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. It is just so interesting that you mentioned this today because I was at the chiropractor and then I see the massage therapist there and she does traction on me because I'm always discombobulated, right? And I said to her out of just randomness, I was like, you know, the medieval torture device, the rack? And she's like, yeah. I said, I think that'd feel good. And she said, for just a moment, you would experience like, I can't remember the word she used.
Like
the euphoric feeling you would get because everything for a minute would be aligned before it pulled you apart.
Yeah. Right. That's funny also because I had completely forgot, but I was just talking about that with him the other day. How, of course, for years I've needed to see a chiropractor, but I'm scared. So in that way, I am a little bitch. But anyway, and how like I really just sometimes I wish that somebody would just take both of my arms and just pull them and my head and my legs for that reason because I'm like, I bet
come back.
I would just
to my
fall apart. Just.
Okay, first of all, I know a lot of people think that chiropractic medicine is hooey, and I am here to tell you it is not.
I don't think that it is. So we've discussed the rack and how some of us would like that, at least for a minute. Thumb screws, which is crushing the digits to inflict controlled pain. Yeah, that was my face also. Leg screws or Spanish boots, which is crushing the legs or shins with tightening boards or metal, binding or crushing with cords, tight rope.
What do you mean by cord? Oh, okay.
Tight ropes constricting the arms or limbs, and then they just squeeze with them. Whipping or scourging, so physical punishment used before formal torture to soften the resistance. So they were whipped and scourged before any of these things. Cold confinement, so exposing the accused to cold, damp cells, or forced cold water dousing. Starvation.
And that's awful because those cold, damp cells, if they had kids, they were in there with them too. Is that correct? Because there wasn't anybody to watch the kids.
There was no one else, if there was nobody else that could. Starvation and restricted food was used to weaken their mental resistance. Iron chains and shackles, it was restrictive bonding that caused long-term pain. So those were some of the mid-level. So first we had the things that they would do just while the accusations were taking place and they were being interrogated. This was all physical things that were done during that same time. So again, we're before we even start trials or anything, or tests, as they're going to call it. So the Malleus also promoted, quote, creative ways to bypass rules limiting torture. So I'm going to go over some of those also. Interrupt and resume method. Stopping torture before legal limits, claiming each session was a new one.
Hold on. You had me at legal limits?
Yes, there are limits, and this is why a lot of these things came to be, because they weren't allowed to go so far. So they found ways to go around that or not get caught doing so, such as the interrupt and resume. So they would torture somebody just before it was illegal to do so and then stop.
Mm-hmm.
And then take a little breaky break and then do it again because that was a new session. Yeah.
I'm gonna mute myself, Jesus Lord.
Okay. Incremental escalation. So starting with gentler forms, moving upward until they got a confession. So say they're squeezing your finger or pinching you, and they just barely pinch a little. And then they're going to keep it there for a couple minutes, and then they're just going to just pinch a little tiny bit more. And then you haven't confessed, so they're going to go until you do. Recording silence as guilt. Treating refusal to speak as evidence that the devil is protecting them.
But they were damned if they did and damned if they didn't.
100%. Conditional.
Anything you say can and will be used against you?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Conditional torture. So torture threatened, resumed, or withheld based on how cooperative the accused seemed. This is the part we've been waiting for. The physical signs of being a witch. So we're through our tortures and all the things that they would do. Now we're going to see what makes us seem like we would be witches. Because some of these are absolutely asinine.
So these are things beyond having a vagina.
Oh, 100%.
Because that is the number one.
But at the same time, most of these are things that literally no one can control or help. So.
Correct.
Right. So the witch's mark, any supposed insensitive spot, mole, wart, or scar. Extra nipples, or the devil's teat, where familiars allegedly fed, of course. Unusual birthmarks. Any odd discoloration or shape was considered suspicious. So anyone, and let's be real, this started in Europe, with freckles of any kind. It's no wonder they thought that all women were witches. We are pasty, and we have freckles.
Yeah, sorry, my dog was barking, and I couldn't comment. But yeah, we're...
She's still... That's
really?
okay.
Delilah, shut up.
It's fine.
We're out with the unusual birthmarks, and I have multiple. I know a lot of people have multiple. And I'm sorry, I was born freckled.
Was like this big. It was light, but it was a big birthmark. And of course had some shape around the edges in the middle, like dead center of my back. But it's covered with tattoos. So, yeah.
Also, witchery.
I know.
They had tattoos back then.
Yeah, they couldn't cover.
Probably not on a woman. But
so, yeah. Literally no way that we
a shark birthmark takes me out, man.
Yeah. So, calloused patches on the hands, considered signs of making salves or unguents. Skin that didn't bleed when pricked. This was used during pricking trials, which were deeply fraudulent, obviously. Behavioral indicators that were looked at, and here those are. Avoidance of eye contact, seen as guilt. Too much eye contact, also seen as guilt. Unusual calmness, labeled as demonic protection. Excessive emotion or agitation, labeled as guilt manifesting. Talking to oneself, considered communication with spirits. I am all kinds of screwed on that. I talk to myself more than literally anyone else on this planet.
I think you haven't named anything except for unusual calmness.
And yeah, I don't have.
I don't make too much eye contact. No, I can't do that. I avoid eye contact.
Yeah.
I don't wish to read your soul, thanks.
Yeah, same. So the standards were intentionally impossible to avoid, as you've heard. As such, we would also have to consider life circumstances well. So the life circumstances in which they would accuse you or were suspicious were widowhood or living alone was seen as suspect. Poverty, marginalized people were easier targets. Midwifery background, any association with childbirth or healing, of course.
Who did they want birthing them babies then?
Your damn self. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Jesus.
Right. Owning herbs, ointments, or medical tools were considered witches' equipment.
So now doctors are out.
Only if they had vaginas, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Pet ownership. Cats, toads, birds, whatever. Pets were interpreted as familiars. And then we have the last part of what they looked for, the supernatural evidence. Confession extracted under torture was treated as irrefutable physical evidence. It was tortured out of them. And they even said
that doesn't even make sense.
They can't do that unless they later can get the same confession not under torture, but alas.
Wouldn't that be oral? That's not physical.
Forced.
And it's forced either way.
Yes. Which
do I just don't understand words?
No, he doesn't understand words.
Okay, I just
or their
sure
meanings.
his penis was still on the way.
Because you got to remember how many times he's already contradicted himself in this whole thing. So
right.
Yeah. Maleficium rumors, illness, spoiled milk, storms, or livestock deaths blamed on the accused. If somebody was like, that bitch next door made my milk go bad, she's a witch. I'm sorry.
I was just trying to make some buttermilk. What? That doesn't even make sense.
So you didn't drink your damn milk in time, so it's my fault.
Yeah. That's has nothing to do with the no refrigerator and
no
shite weather.
Absolutely not. And then the last one, as we were talking about a minute ago, surviving the water ordeal. But that was only used in non-church trials. The church did not agree to drown people, allegedly. Floating was considered proof that you were a witch. So I was just going to drown.
Again,
I guess
it doesn't make sense to me. None of it does, but I can't even wrap my head around the thought process here because they're not going to float. Are they aware that people can't breathe in water and they're going to drown if they don't figure out a way to float?
Right.
So either way, they're killing someone. So now they're
Yes,
killing
they are.
innocent people, but that's okay. It
Done
was
in the name of...
of God, who gave them
Right.
permission to dance with the devil in the pale moonlight.
Right. Well,
'Cause
he
that's the
would
only
never
way you can be a witch.
allow a non-witch to be accused. So anybody that's
I
going to
mean,
die during this obviously was a witch, because God wouldn't let them be accused, much less die.
so again, damned
So
if you did, damned
whole
if you
premise,
didn't.
and to sum it up in my head anyway, his whole premise for this entire thing is God's not going to let you die or be accused if you aren't a witch. So it's God's
So
fault.
sink or float, you were a witch.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said,
I hate it here.
literally every piece of this, there's no way to get around it. Like none whatsoever. So,
It's
yeah, there's
ridiculous.
that. We're going to die either way. That's basically where that goes. I mean, even like the torture and stuff, if you're still not going to admit it, because you're not a witch, and they're
And
going to pull you apart.
right.
Well, at that point, it doesn't matter if she was a witch or not,
No.
because you never pull her damn arms, legs off.
And
So-
it's not true that God wouldn't let you be accused, because there were some who escaped persecution.
Oh, yeah.
Or-
Yes.
Yeah, is that the correct word?
Yes.
They were proven innocent.
Yeah.
So, again, contradicting self.
Yeah. I think
This should be called the Book of Contradiction.
as it said in my class in this episode,
Mm-hmm.
After a certain amount of time, they basically they still used the book, but only bits and pieces. His part of this whole thing, they kind of just quit paying attention to anyway. So I think that especially later, they kind of adopted a lot of different things that were not the same as the way he put them in there. As far as, and I'm sure that that's a big part of it, because like I said, the torture and coercion and stuff is what they were against when he first started this shit. That is why the church basically told him to kick rocks, because they were like, no, we're not doing this.
Right.
And then I think that also some of the more extreme, I guess we could say, courts and churches that went after these women, again, were more extreme about it and took it a little further than some of the others. And just, over time, we were burning people alive and hanging them. Because if you'll
okay.
notice, the end result in this book isn't how you're going to kill them. It was, let's get us to that point, and then you figure out what to do.
Bambi?
Because execution was the end result, regardless. But
the book didn't say to do that.
He didn't say how. So people were left on their own once he got them to this point, and they were left on their own to figure out how they wanted to do that. So that part, the burning and the hanging and all that, or the rock crushing, because that was one also, they decided that part. So they can't even blame him for that shit.
I hate humans.
So we can't blame him for that. We can't put that part on him. The way that they were executed, that wasn't him. So,
well, thank you for that descent into madness.
Oh, you're welcome. That makes you think. And
I never.
Most of the ones that were executing witches were churches. So,
yes, them fine folk.
Yeah, it was the Puritans. I mean, over here more so than other. I mean, it was a balance as far as other places mostly, but here it was solely
this was churches. Legal mass murder.
It 100% was. Yeah. And I will be covering later, early in the next year, I'm sure, after Christmas and everything. I'm going to start with witch trials in the U.S. that were not Salem, because a lot of people don't realize how many there were. There were quite a few. And give some of the names and dates for those and places that people were executed. And then I'm going to venture to other countries and kind of go over how that went down also, because a lot of them were very, very different from ours. And some of them are more popular, like the Sweden witch trials were pretty big to where people talk about them. But a lot of places that you would have no idea even had anything. And a lot of them were darker than what we had here, which is
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So that'll end up being a thing. It'll be a series, and I may break it down and do other things in between. But yeah.
Okay.
So that'll be coming up in the new year. It's crazy that we're close to the end of the year, and
it's madness.
It's even remotely necessary to start discussing early year things. Because what?
I only have 12 school days with my class.
Wow.
Because we don't have students on Fridays. So I only have 12 days with them.
Oh,
the tree's up, by the way.
I was hoping
they did get to see it before Thanksgiving break. We just didn't do all the other things, but we did all the other things on Friday. So when they come back, it's all Christmassy in our room, and I can't wait. I want them to arrive with the lights off so they can see all the lights.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like it. All right. Well, I'm going to crawl into my cave over here and reflect on some things. And
reflect on some past lives.
A few, apparently. I don't know. So, yeah. All right.
And we're going to go on to my missing moment. I am just going to mention here that my mom is actually friends with one of this person's family members. And it was close to his date of disappearance. And I decided it was time to go ahead and cover his case since it was close to his date of disappearance. His name is Paul Cliffton Sigman, and he went by Cliff. He disappeared sometime in the late night hours of December 1st or in the early morning hours of December 2nd, 2014. I read that his boots, gloves, and cigarettes were found near his home, which was on Stump Run Road in Grayson, Kentucky. Cliff's mother, Sabrina Sigman, reported that he had left the house on foot after having an argument with his brother Eric. Cliff reportedly was on drugs at the time, and Eric pretended to call police, prompting Cliff to leave the house as he feared being arrested. Sabrina and Eric believed that he was making meth at home, which was what prompted the argument. It seems it was typical of Cliff to leave the house to calm down. He usually returned after 20 to 30 minutes, but this time he didn't. His mother and other family members went searching for him, and in an article on CarterCountyPost.com, Sabrina is quoted as saying, "I was yelling, 'You can come home, the cops ain't coming.' I kept saying to myself, he'll be back. He never came back." The initial missing persons report was filed 2 days later with Kentucky State Police. Search areas included local parks, businesses, and other places Cliff was known to spend time. Flyers were hung. There were social media campaigns and appeals for information. There are some wild rumors about this case. Apparently, in 2015, the police were contacted when Sabrina attempted to cash, and I remember Sabrina is his mom, she attempted to cash a tax return check in Cliff's name. That seems to be the catalyst for the rumors and lending to the idea that Sabrina and Eric have something to do with Cliff's disappearance, or that they know more than they're saying. There has been no evidence confirming this. This case, it's still unsolved. I mean, it is strange, but what was she supposed to do with the check?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah.
He was reportedly seen getting into a black car, which was associated with people Cliff was known to do drugs with. There are rumors that he was killed and dumped into a well, or that his body is hidden on an abandoned strip mine property. That's really all of the detail I've got, or that I went into. There's plenty of other things, but we'll just keep it at that. Cliff was 30 years old at the time of his disappearance in 2014. He'd be about 40 or 41 now. He's described as 6 feet tall, 175 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes. He was last seen wearing a blue hoodie, jeans, and boots. If you have any information on Cliff's disappearance, no matter how small, please contact the Kentucky State Police. And remember, anytime you have any bit of information that you think, even if you think it's too small, it might not be. It might be the thing that solves a case. You just never know.
Yeah, it could be the tiniest little detail of something that was missed. That could literally be the key. So,
yes.
I mean, to be fair, that has a little more detail than a lot that we've been over.
Yeah, it might have been the whole kind of family entwined, sort of not entwined, but like we're familiar with his family. So
yeah,
I always love it whenever there is a description of clothing.
Yeah.
I am disturbed that his things were found near the house.
Yeah, me too.
If that was in fact true, because I only read that in one spot.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, as always, somebody might remember something or know something that could possibly help out.
Well, someone definitely does know something. It's a matter of getting them to say it.
Well, yeah, there's always somebody that knows something. So we're going to make fun of Kramer just one more time.
We're not going to end on my sadness, and I love that.
Well, that's why I went ahead and did it here instead of mixed in with the other things, because, yeah, we like to try to...
love it.
And it's not a lot, which is very unfortunate, but, you know, because I wanted nothing more than to tell you all about what made this twat, well, a twat. But unfortunately, like nothing on his early life or his family that can be found. I have scoured all of the interwebs. I have looked through AI, everything you can imagine. I got nothing. However,
that's wild, because you were able to find stuff on the lady who spat upon him and caused all of this nonsense in his mind.
Yes. But what I did find, it is just a rumor, but I feel like it's a pretty good rumor. It is rumored that his mother was perhaps a prostitute and that his father was unknown. Nothing was documented, of course, but I feel like that actually makes sense. So,
what in the name of making a serial killer?
Right. Because if you think about it, there's nothing. Like, nothing. I couldn't find literally anything on his family whatsoever. And
wow,
that would make sense. And also his perception of women, that would make sense. So
it really would. Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, that could be a rumor, or it is a rumor, but since it's not documented anywhere and I can't find anything else, we're going to go with that. And my apologies to his mother if you were not, in fact, a prostitute. Maybe, because we don't know what else you were. So
maybe she was trash.
She's not here. So, well, and that's what I'm saying.
We shouldn't. Yeah. Okay.
However. Okay, so what I do have, I will tell you. It's not a lot, and I tried to stay away from post-Malleus writing. So we don't have a lot, but we got some. So Heinrich Kramer, Latinized Henricus Institutorus, was a German Dominican friar and inquisitor born about 1430 in Schlettstadt, Alsace, and died in 1505. He is best known as the author of Malleus Maleficarum in 1487, as we know. Early life and his Dominican career before the Malleus. So his origins and entry into the Dominicans. Born in Schlettstadt, as I said, into modest circumstances, Kramer entered the Dominican order as a very young man and advanced very rapidly within the order, becoming prior of the Dominican house in his native town and later achieving positions such as preacher/general and master of sacred theology. His notable prosecutions and controversies. Kramer's inquisitorial work involved high-profile prosecutions. He gained notoriety for rigorous investigations and trials that sometimes sparked local disputes and accusations that his methods were extreme. Episodes such as his involvement in criminal trials around Trent contributed to his controversial standing. So his later career and legacy after the Malleus, since we got like nothing to his previous to the Malleus.
There was like nothing at all.
That's all I got. Like I looked and that's all I could find. So previous to joining, he was a ghost. So continued inquisitorial work. After publication, Kramer continued his inquisitorial duties and remained active in campaigns against witchcraft and heresy. His book, widely printed and circulated, amplified his influence by giving other inquisitors and secular courts a doctrinal and procedural model for witch trials. His reputation and historical assessments. In subsequent decades, the Malleus became one of the most influential texts of the early modern witch craze. Kramer's name became linked inseparably to the intensification of witch prosecutions across Europe. Modern historians regard him as a central, though deeply controversial, figure in the development of the witch hunting practices. His death. Kramer died in 1505, having left a polarizing legacy. A zealous inquisitor whose handbook helped shape 2 centuries of witch trials, and whose methods and motives remain widely debated by scholars. The end. That's all he gets.
That's all he deserves.
That's all he gets.
And again, I'm sorry if his childhood was horrible.
Sure.
But,
I mean,
he did this crap on his own.
He 100% did. Yeah.
I just cannot.
Me either. It's the fact that I couldn't find anything was odd for me. There were people with, records in that time. Yes, it was early.
He just
1400s and all, but literally nothing is just absurd. So previously,
Yes.
he was a ghost. There's got to be a reason for that.
Maybe he's an alien.
I mean,
They just plopped him down here. And he was like,
sounds about right. Maybe
what the
he
heck's going on
himself
with all these females?
was a demon.
I don't hate that theory.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was essentially, regardless.
Yeah.
So we're going to go with that because I don't know what else to say about him.
Stand by our theory that we didn't talk about on air. He's gay.
Oh, I 100% still think he is.
And I mean,
yeah.
Do you do? But
oh, absolutely. And as I said, leave us the hell alone then.
Yeah, we don't.
I can assure you,
should not be bothering you that bad.
None of us trying to jump on you, sir. Don't be acting like we're offending you with our genitalia. Just take a sweet cheek.
Certainly don't want to pop yours off and, weave it into our nest of peenie.
No. We would lose it in the nest anyway. So.
This is also true.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, he kind of forced Springer to be involved in this book, even though he wasn't.
Correct.
And he came out and basically said that he didn't even like him. So maybe that also is part of the issue. Maybe he had a thing for Springer, and Springer didn't like him either. So he's now got Helena and her husband who didn't like him and were the most, verbal about it around town. And then he starts writing this book condemning women. And now he's met this, other scholar or whatever. And that dude's like, ew, no. And now he's like, cool, I'm just going to steal your name and put it in this book, make it look like you helped. And he's like, whatever,
That's a good theory.
I mean, he didn't do that with anybody else. And he was involved with other theologians and scholars and church people. Why did he only do that to him?
I mean, you're definitely onto something, I do believe.
I mean, the only other person that he involved in that fictitiously was the Pope. But the Pope signed that papal bill. But it wasn't for that damn book, so it didn't matter anyway. But he did use that, but that was the only other thing that he used. So the only other person involved in it was somebody who didn't even like him. So
what if when she said, you bad monk, was that what she said?
Yeah, fie you bad monk.
Fie you bad monk. It was because he hit on her husband.
Oh, and both of them didn't like him.
Nope.
Oh,
sure didn't.
Girl.
Curiouser and curiouser, Alice thought.
I know. It's not that crazy of a theory. It wasn't that crazy of a theory before we came up with all of this. So
Correct.
And to think he could have just not done any of this and found someone who actually was interested
Correct.
and been fine and lived a long and healthy, happy life along with the hundreds of thousands of people that would have lived had he not done that.
Yes.
Yeah. But alas. Okay. Well, I don't have anything else to add to Mr. Kramer. I really don't. Got nothing left. Maybe in the future.
Said author was to say.
Maybe in the future we will have more things to do on him or the Malleus, but we're going to put that baby to bed for a while. Because,
Yes, please.
So, yeah. All right. So that is all we have for you this round. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us again, or for the first time if you're new here. I hope that you come back and join us again next week. We will be starting our winter holiday funsies. Sadly, I didn't have more on Kramer, but to be fair, did you need any? However, if you have your own macabre musings, tales, questions, or dark lore that you're dying to hear, find us on Facebook, or you can drop us a line at Macabre.Musings.Podcast at gmail.com.
Pull up a chair next time as we dive into more dark, creepy lore and maybe tumble down a rabbit hole or two. Until then, keep your lanterns low and your curiosity buzzing like Christmas lights.
And we will see y'all later. Bye.
Bye-bye.